What's up, y'all? So this is Amber All Real, and today I want to know has anybody else struggled with like making peace with a past relationship or even a friendship? In my case, it was a past relationship that I had with an ex. A lot of times we experience things, but do we really learn from the trials and tribulations that we go through? So today, that's the point of my video. I'm here to talk about what we've learned from our past trials and tribulations. So my question to you is, what were some things that your ex taught you? Keep it real with ourselves as far as like why we went through the things that we went through in past relationships. So the thing that helps us moving forward is to never make those same mistakes again. So I'm here to talk about what you should have learned from your ex. And this definitely applies to me as well. I definitely learned so much from my last situation. It took some time to gain some closure, but at the end of the day, when I stepped back and I really looked at the situation, I realized that it was a lot that I should have took from it and that I could learn that will help me not go through the same thing in my next relationship. So the first thing I want to get into is number one, you should never lose yourself. I lost myself in my relationship by kind of lowering my vibration, toning down myself to match the type of person that I felt like he was. And that's where you go wrong every time. Anytime you're with someone and you have to change or tweak, or you feel like you have to change or tweak the type of person that you are, that's not a good sign, and you're already off to the wrong start. You know what I'm saying? I used to dress a different way because I felt like that's what appealed to him. Even as far as things that I preferred to do, I would mainly go with whatever I felt like he was into, kind of to like appease him or turn into what I felt like would be ideal for him. And that's the worst thing that you can ever do, because you start to like lose your identity bit by bit by bit. So number two, you have to set boundaries. Setting boundaries will definitely cut a lot of things short. So in my past relationship, I lacked boundaries. I lacked boundaries by not speaking on things that didn't feel good to me in that moment. And what I would do is I would like hold a lot of stuff in. So he might do something that I'm not satisfied with, and I would let weeks, sometimes even months go by and let things build up. Maybe he would continue to do those same things, and I would wait until it was too much for me to continue to hold in before I spoke on it. And then by then, I'm blowing up. Sometimes it's an argument. Sometimes I might get disrespectful because now I'm at my wit's end instead of speaking on something right then and there in the moment. Setting boundaries is when somebody does something that is unacceptable to you, you let them know right then and there. It doesn't do you any good to sit on things and hold things in, because if you wait weeks, months, now you done let so much time go by, and it's like a lot of times you're saying it in a way because like I said, you're fed up. So a lot of times you're speaking on how you feel because maybe they spoke on how they feel. Maybe they're telling you something that you did that they weren't comfortable with. So now you're like, well, I don't like when you do this. But now it's like a tit for tat versus you standing up in the first place and letting them know where they had you fucked up at to begin with. Another thing that your ex should have taught you, that my ex certainly did, was to take your time. I didn't take enough time to really get to know who I was dealing with. People show you things in due time, meaning that we did date, but it was a lot of questions that I should have asked. It was a lot of things that we should have touched on during just a friendship, before we got intimate with each other, before we decided to take it to the next level. It was just a lot of questions that I should have asked to begin with, to know if this is someone that I can really see myself being with long term. Things that you should ask. Maybe you want to ask how they were raised. How does your partner deal with problems, stress? Are they a good communicator? Do they lack communication? Do you want kids? Do you not want kids? Are they a hands-on? If he does have kids, is he a hands-on father? And what is most important in a relationship to the other person? Like, you need to know those things to make sure that you are in alignment with the person that you're trying to date, because what's important to them may not be as important to you. Or you might have differences that really, really matter. I don't want any more kids, so I have 2 of my own. I don't want any more kids. So one thing that I do when I meet people, not the first date, but as I'm getting to know people, I ask them what are their perspective on having kids. And if they say they want more kids and I don't want any more, then I know, like, this is not something that's going to be long term. So you got to dig deep, not ask surface questions. Bump the, what's your favorite color? What do you like to eat? You really need to dive deep and know, like, the type of person that you're dealing with, because it will really save you a lot of heartache in the long run. Okay. The next thing that I learned was to learn myself and love myself. In my past relationship, I entered from a place of lack. I was seeking attention and I was in it for all the wrong reasons. Because of that, I ignored the things that were most important to me in a relationship. What type of qualities did I want in someone? So not only is it important to ask the person that you're dating the qualities that they look for, what they find important in a relationship, how they were raised. Like, you also need to dig deep and ask yourself those questions. Figure out the type of person that you want to be with, and the type of person that you are, your likes, your dislikes. What can you live with, and what can you what's a deal breaker for you? Ask yourself these questions seriously before you enter a relationship, because when you don't, you find those things out in that relationship. Like, he's not clean. He doesn't clean up a lot. And we done moved in together, and that drives me crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, those are things that you'll find out eventually. So these are like questions that you need to ask your partner, or your love interest, and yourself as well. Always remember to ask yourself those same questions. That'll solve a lot of issues. Another thing my ex taught me, to never overextend myself. I was a people pleaser. I was overextending by always showing up for him, even when I felt unappreciated. Even when I felt like he wasn't showing up for me, I was still trying to please him and make him happy. And when you do that, that comes from a place of lack. You're lacking self-love because you don't feel like you're worthy of that, but you're giving it to someone else. You know what I'm saying? Like, why don't you feel like you're worthy of that same reciprocated energy? And that's what I did. I was so busy trying to make him happy, make sure he was pleased, not listening and considering my own needs and what were important to me, not speaking up. So that's another thing that you always want to remember. And if you look back at your last relationship, and though these have been some of the things that you have dealt with, moving forward, you need to make sure that this is something that you never do again. The final thing I learned from my ex was to take accountability. When you're dealing with someone, you have to take accountability. I didn't take accountability because when it was all said and done, I blamed him for the relationship failing. I felt like he mistreated me. He ignored me. He didn't consider me when it came to certain things, And I did a lot of blaming, but it takes two to tango. And no, he was not the perfect partner. And no, he probably is not someone that, regardless of anything, that I would be with today. But when you stick in a situation where you know someone is mistreating you, when you know that you're not setting boundaries, you're not speaking up for yourself, then you have to take accountability for that because you chose to stay. In my case, I didn't speak up. You know, regardless of how lonely I felt or the mistreatment that I was dealing with, I didn't speak up. And even when I did speak up, when things didn't change, I still decided to stay. So I still accepted mistreatment. And anyone who's been in a past relationship, you can't continue to blame. You got to figure out what was in you that made you put up with all of the BS. And when you look inside and you figure that out, that moving forward will save you so much, because now I know, like, I'm going to speak up on things that don't feel right to me. And you don't have to be argumentative about it, but have a voice. Like, just because it's never going to do you any justice to try to please someone to keep them around or make them stay or hope that they reciprocate that energy. In the long run, you're going to hurt yourself, because it's going to be somebody out there that when you speak up and set boundaries, they're going to rise up to the occasion. So the biggest thing that I could say learn is you have to take accountability for the disrespect that you accept, for the mistreatment that you accept, for the lack of communication that you continue to deal with, or that you lack yourself. You lack communication when you didn't speak on certain things right then and there. So all of these things are things that you want to take with you moving forward. And you know what? We can give our exes a round of applause and say thank you, because I did leave this relationship, you know, learning a few things. I did learn a few things from you. You know, maybe it didn't seem that way in the beginning, but moving forward now, you know, like, these are the good parts, the good lessons that you're able to take from your past relationship and move forward. So I just wanted to share those things with you today. I hope that it really resonated with you. It just kind of came to me, and these were things that I sat and thought about because I was so hurt in my last relationship. I was looking for closure. It really broke me down, and then I had to sit with myself and figure out, well, what were the things that you decided to, what were all the things that you felt like he wronged you, him or her wronged you in your past relationship? And I sat down and I wrote those things down, and once I wrote those things down, it was like, okay, so what did you learn from that? What did you learn from this mistreatment? What did you learn from them? You felt like they were ignoring you. What did that teach you? That taught me the next time around that I'm going to speak on things, or the next time around that a person that has those personality traits, we're not going to mesh well. And I'm going to figure that out in the beginning before it gets too deep and before my feelings are too attached and I get hurt. But anyway, you guys, I don't want to talk your head off, but that was all for today. I just wanted to share those things with you. You all, please subscribe to my channel. If you want more videos like this, please let me know. Drop some comments. Let me know your experiences with your past ex, or anything that you learned that you'd like to share. And if you want to see more videos like this, drop them down below. Thanks for watching.